Oh, yes, we're getting live. Hit that like, everybody. Up and running. We're on Substack. We're on Instagram. It's good to be the king.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
You're going to fraction. Action replays in magnified portion.
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the air.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President Mike Pence and his wonderful wife Karen.
All right, let's get started. So much to cover. Firing it up. Almost there. 1 second. Bringing something else up. Why? You silly thing. Now I'm doing it. Man. All right. Okay. Ready to go. Here we go. Hitting the thing. Maybe the buttons will work. We'll see. There we go. Excellent. And I don't have I should have a fade button. Turn the thing. And there we are. Hi, welcome to the show. I'll keep working on this. Hold on. I think, let me check the closet for cats. All good. I'm back here. I was running around so much. I realized I hadn't done a full sweep because I was gone last night for the thing, and then there's a very strong chance there might be people hiding underneath the stuff here. We don't know. We'll be okay, I think. All right. If there's this, if you guys hear something I don't hear because I have headphones in at some point that sounds like an animal in nature, warn me, will you? Please, chat room. And by the way, I don't want to put you on the spot, chat room, but there you are. And I'm not trying to put you to work. The mods, give it up for the mods. They do far too much work for us as it is. My goodness. In the interim, let's see. There was something. Oh yes. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. Subscribing also helps. And where did our chat room go? There it is. Okay, quick, pop that up. I know I need to reload it because it's being a jerk, and such is life. And I put this up here so I can see it, and then we're all good. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Maybe do I put that up in like, put this good with this? Okay, cool. I think, sorry, I think I heard a crocodile. No. I met a guy last night who is going to be in the new episode, the new season of Florida Man, in Florida, and in Florida, I guess. But I'm hoping they contact me about giving them a theme song. I think I could do quite well. That said, I wanted to add while we're sitting here talking amongst ourselves. So I watched as much as I could without passing out of the House committee hearing. Definitely a lot of Republicans trying to tap dance around this and divert. Like it's almost like next scandal, please. I would argue is probably what I'm going to end up having to name the show tomorrow. The only way out of this for them seems to be, let's see, mass volume control is this. That would be up or down, maybe playback control. Okay, we'll put there. What's it do? Play, pause, all, fade, all. That would be it. Yeah. That way, well, check this out. Hold on. See if I'm testing something right now. We'll use this right now. Good evening, and welcome to HalSparks Mega Worldwide. We begin tonight with a story that could see the music faded out. I fixed it. I did it. I gave myself a fade out button. It's good. Now I just add that to my opening camera shot, and then when I leave the opening of the show and go to that, it will fade the music as I come on screen. And you don't care about this stuff. It's just me. This is how I amuse myself. And can I just say, there is a point to this. Really? How? Yes, really. God damn it. The point is that I'm operating this the little show that could on my little shoestring budget here in my office with my green screen in front of my desk and stuff. Hold on. Wait, thank you. Which is right there, and my little Elgato microphone, which I paid full price for. Thank you, Patreons, and my high-tech devices that I use to convey my, let's say, ill will towards the current state of politics in our beautiful country, and etc. And operating on my little Stream Deck things that I put together. And do it all, just me by my lonesome putting this together. Now, mods help immensely, and thank you, CSL, for hunting down clips that I have not seen so that I don't have to not see these guys more than once a day. If you know what I'm saying. That said, I don't get, with all the struggles I go through, audio, getting guests on, files that just go missing mysteriously when I'm trying to put the show on, is just whatever. Yes, subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just hit subscribe, you maniac. Fuck is wrong with you? That while I would like to remind everyone that um let me shrink this down. Jesse Waters on the brain. He makes millions of the dollars on his show and is just a miserable bastard all the time. Same thing with Greg Gutfeld. Like, Greg Gutfeld has the cushiest comedy in air quotes gig that exists in the fucking world, because he doesn't even have to be funny. There's this odd assumption because of the time that he's on and the fact that he knows less than anyone on the panel, that therefore he must be the comedian, which is insulting to comedians, as is everything about Greg Gutfeld's existence. But Jesse Waters has to show up twice a day for work. He does the 5, and then he does, which I'm sure they have a signal group. Oh Lord, to be a slug on the wall of that slime pit. But he also does his nightly show, and there are times when I'm sure he's glad to come to work. When, right after the election, when Trump has won and all this kind of stuff. But now, these guys are in a bit of a pickle, kids, because ratings are down, because oppositional media does better in the world of politics. And so what's Fox News got to do but, inflate Trump beyond where their own comfort level, and of course, I guess play suck up the rest of the time, or defend him when things are falling apart. Cue the excuse machine. Now, I don't know. This is the title of this one. This should tell you something about what Democrats think they have a new Trump scandal in chat leak. Okay, no, we don't. The chat leak is, by all measures, a political scandal that any previous administration, Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian, progressive, whatever, would have fired multiple people over. And of course, it's a scandal. It's probably ultimately the bigger underlying scandal of this whole thing is just how little of a fuck Donald Trump gives about national security and the safety of soldiers, because basically they sign up to die. So if they get shot out of the air because Pete Hegseth is flexing on signal, shit happens. And there's another, VA, I don't know, more VA benefits you don't have to pay off in a few years. So the controversy in and of itself is the true controversy for Trump we haven't even gotten to. On the surface, this sucks. They broke the law. That's exactly right. Smarty Pants in the chat room. They broke the law. Law has been broken by idiots. And they are doing everything they can to scramble and cover it up. And Jesse Waters, I guess, is just getting the shrug duty for the week. Like, everybody has people have to go, yeah, but what, like the whataboutism, it's almost like a battle plan, right? Yet the archers are the whataboutism, and the Navy, I suppose, would be we have bigger scandals to deal with that aren't even on land. They are at sea. Our enemy is surrounding us on this island. And then the infantry bullshit, meat grinder job is, this is nothing. Shunk, 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 shunk. This isn't even important, right? That's the way to get chewed up in the meat grinder. So let's see.
No one died except for terrorists. There was no collateral damage.
Yeah, because Jeffrey Goldberg was the guy in the group and not some random sympathetic diplomat from Saudi Arabia. No one died because Jeffrey Goldberg is an honorable human being who did not immediately publish what he saw, because if he had, people could have died.
The mission was a success.
By the way, citation needed. Fuck you. Nope. You could say it was a success. They blew up a building that they, according to the signal thread, think had a terrorist in it because he was visiting his girlfriend. He went in there, the building blew up. Did they leave out the part where he left? Are they assuming he was in there? Do they have confirmation that he was actually in the building when he fucking blew up? Did they know that this is where he goes for his weekly tryst, so they knew he'd at least be, an hour and a half, or in Jesse's world, 3 to 6 minutes, including dressing and undressing?
And Democrats think they have a scandal.
No, we don't think we have a scandal. It's a fucking scandal. It's scandalous. It's despicable.
Accidentally adding someone to a group text, which we've all done, is
No. First of all, no, we fucking have not. We have not all done that. Let's just start there. No, I have never accidentally added someone to a group text. We have added, I think, on the Sexy Liberal comedy tour, and when we were doing the virtual shows, we tried to set up a Slack, I did, so that everybody could coordinate, so we'd know what bits we were working on, and we could coordinate, like, sending our bits in and all that kind of stuff. And there were people added to it that didn't need to be on it, but they were germane to the entire process. They just didn't need to come in until later, so they didn't have to see all the stuff. But it wouldn't be a violation of comedic secrecy to let them in on it during the process at all. Like, fuck off. No, not everyone has done this. No, not. As a matter of fact, not everybody even has the ability on a Slack or as an administrator of it to add the wrong person to it. Most people haven't added all the right people to one of these group chats. Dumb. Oh, fuck, we left out Stan. You know what I mean? Like, that happens way more often than this. So let's just start with fuck you. This lazy, who hasn't done that? Okay. Secondly, not true at its base. Piss off. Secondly, that's the equivalent in that statement. It's also like saying, hey, who among us hasn't been responsible for the life and death of dozens of soldiers flying over a war zone that can be shot out of the fucking sky? Here's who among us has made those kind of slapdash decisions when we know full well people could die because we're fucking around and acting like we're still drinking on the job. So let's just start there with fuck you, Jesse Waters, for trying to wash this away by assuming everybody's as big a fuck up as you are, I guess. And secondly, assuming that the standards for that kind of a fuck up is equal no matter what the ramifications of that fuck up would be. Like, nobody takes more or less care, whether it's a fucking, like, a baking group, trying to figure out, like, resources for a cookie baking competition at the school to raise money versus fucking the nuclear codes. Shut the fuck up, Stretch Ben Shapiro.
Watergate. The National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, his staff accidentally added an American reporter to a group.
Oh, sorry. Did anybody spot that?
Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, his staff accidentally added an American reporter to a group text of Trump officials.
So who did it?
Text, which we've all done, is the new Watergate. The National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, his staff accidentally added an American reporter to a group text.
His staff accidentally. So, sorry, Jesse Waters, you have some fucking confirmation from someone? Who on his staff? First of all, let's understand that blaming people, lame. His name is on as the admin. It's his fucking fault. fish stinks from the head. Secondly, if you have information that his staff did, what did they all sit around? How many people are on the fucking staff for the national security advisor? How many people? How many fucking millennial douchebags were sitting around in his office that he's brought in because he doesn't know how to fucking update his the software on his phone? 9 of them. How many people were there when they collectively, the staff, added Jeffrey Goldberg? Did they have a vote? Was it a, best 2 out of 3 leg wrestle in the middle of the fucking office between 6 staff members? The staff did it. Fuck you. So I look forward to Jesse Waters either getting sued by members of the staff who are being defamed, I suppose, or I guess this guy firing his staff immediately because they were all in on it.
Trump officials who were discussing an attack on Iranian proxies.
Discussing an attack on Iranian proxies. No. They were giving, in the case of Pete Hegseth, the schedule and the weapons and the timing of the attack on the Houthis, who have already, fired on American aircraft. Hold on. Let's see. This is 18 hours ago. Oh, there we go. And then here's another one. And there you go. Let me grab this for you. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Put it on reader. Back up. There we go. Show reader. There we go. Now, let me show you something. See this ship? That Kapow is right. The Houthis have claimed that they have struck they fired upon USS Truman and other ships. Now, debatable whether they actually hit it or not. The point is, they've got the range to do it. They can do it. If they know it's in range, they can hit it. And if you'll notice, the F-18s that Hegseth was bragging about are parked all over the fucking surface of this ship. Before the planes even take off, this is where they are. And then they take off from, this ship or others in the area. This can, if they knew when they were taking off, they could know how to get out of the way. They could also know when they're coming and where they're coming from. Let's say you can tell where the ship is because they've got people in the water. The Houthis have their own little scout groups and their little pirate groups that are roaming around in these little fast mover ships. They can't take on boats like this, but they can fucking spot them. So let me ask you. Let me ask everybody in the fucking chat room and every maggot that's crawling by here right now, especially if you're on Rumble right now, you rumbly piece of shit, you power slap watching closet monster. Let me walk you through something. If you know the time that a launch is going to happen of where airplanes are going to take off, and then when missiles are going to follow after, and you know the flight time it would take because of some basic math of how long it would take a ship, an airplane to get from the ship to over top of the target. And then, because you have guys in boats roaming around the sea looking where these boats are, you know where they are a good portion of the time. Or, check this, The fucking Russians are telling you where they are via Iran, which they are. Do you think you could work out the transit path and the timing of and the direction and the source and methods, the source being the boat, the method being flight, of how long it would take for this plane to come and where it was going to fly over the fucking city on its way to you? You think you could figure out it's there, it's coming here, it's probably coming this way at the base. Now, if they make it fucking fly big circles and go all around and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing. But they sure as shit don't think they have to, because allegedly the Houthis wouldn't know they were coming. But in this particular instance, where Pete fucking Bagsack has allowed a stranger into the chat, we have to assume, he wants us to assume, and so does Jesse Waters, that this is the only person that has been accidentally added to one of these fucking things. And do you think the Trump administration would tell us if we lost a spy or a fucking boat or a fucking helicopter got shot down, because of this kind of a failure? So when Hegseth says they don't know the pathway of the airplanes and all that kind of stuff, no, they just have access to the time it could get there, when the launch actually happens, the fact that they think it will be after the launch 2 hours to reach its target. So it's 2 hours out. Then you take a fucking compass and you do a big circle for the airspeed and the altitude that these kind of planes fly, because they've attacked you before and they're coming, and you do a big fucking circle and you go, well, let me guess, the ships aren't anywhere on the land. All right, let's start there. Then they narrow it out over here. Can you guys see them? Nope. Can you guys see them? Nope. Can you guys see them? Nope. Can you guys see them? Yeah, there's a boat right here. That's how they do it. So the idea that we have OPSEC is fucking bullshit. Just because we live in a very modern time, and just because we have access to modern warfare and modern gear and GPS and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean that the fucking laws of physics have changed. It doesn't mean that flight times differ that much from an F-18 did 10 years ago. Earth is still fucking round. The idea that you would need all the modern stuff, it reminds me of that moment in, I forget, I think it was the Avengers, when they get, Loki comes aboard and it blows up one of their, I mean, they're not even like, it's a copter. So it blows up one of the blade systems on the thing, and it's starting to fall out of the sky, and then they manage to stabilize it. And he goes, navigation's out. And he goes, is the sun up? Yes. Then point it towards the sun. Like, we're going, we're going west. Point it towards the west. Like, you can still navigate anyways. There's lots of ways people have done this in many battles for a very long time. And if the speed of change doesn't outrun however fast a ship or an airplane can travel, it doesn't fucking matter. You've got time to do the math. Ugh. The Whiskey Leaks? That's great. Whiskey Leaks is great. I would also like to point out that whoever came up with the Hegseth is a DUI hire I congratulate you.
The reporter accidentally added to the group text wasn't a good guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was, you dumb motherfucker. He was a great guy. Because if he wasn't a good guy, if he wasn't even good, if he wasn't even baseline vanilla okay, he would have called, even just being a curious asshole, one of our foreign partners, to go, hey, we have confirmation that in an hour and a half or 2 hours, you guys are going to participate in a strike on the Houthis. We'd like to get some comment. But he's good at his job, and he's a decent person.
Our very own stupid son of a bitch, Peter Doocy.
And happen to know the guy's a total sleazebag.
Right. He's a sleazebag. And your national security advisor added him to a fucking chat. So again, why is your NSA adding sleazebags to chats that are crucial to national security? Fuckwad.
The Atlantic is a failed magazine.
Well, it's doing great now.
It's very, very poorly. Nobody gives a damn about it. It gives.
I give a damn. I'm just saying for the record. And I know Trump thinks I'm a nobody, but only because I'm an American citizen. Who, by the way, who wasn't born rich.
A little bit of a shot. And I will tell you this, that they've made up more stories. And they're just a failing magazine. The public understands that.
We've seen this
Jeffrey
before,
Goldberg got the scoop of his life by accident because somebody may have fat-fingered him into a private chat.
No, somebody. Wait a minute. We're somebodying now. We know who it is. You've already said so, Jesse. Jesse. It was obviously the staff at the NSA. Heads should roll. You should. You know what you should do? You should call Michael Waltz and go around checking people's fingers. Fat fingers. He was drunk texted.
It says on the group text, Hegseth shared war plans for the Houthi rebels. Pete says, no, I didn't. Classified
Yeah, and then we saw them.
material never entered the chat. So it's a
Yeah, it did.
said, she said.
No, it isn't, because they're out now, dummy. And the she said would be Tulsi Gabbard, I guess.
It's the she. Yeah, he read some things he probably shouldn't have. It was an accident. Accidents happen when you're taking.
Yeah, accidents happen. Sometimes you're walking along, you're carrying your groceries, you got to pee, you're trying to fiddle with your keys, and you trip and fall into a national security controversy.
Action. If you sleep all day like Biden and take no action, well, that's a dereliction of duty. Mike Waltz says he has no idea how this dishonest reporter even got access to the chat.
Apparently, maybe you should tell him it was his staff, because apparently you do.
This one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor. President Trump.
By the way, oddest turn of phrase in that whole fucked up meeting. The world owes him a favor. Do me a fucking favor.
Decisive action with his national security team, took out the head missileer, knocked out missiles,
Missileer. That's did it have that written on his shirt? Scratch out missileer and put down head missileer.
Headquarters, knocked out communication.
You are the missileer? I'm the head missileer. Head missileer. Scratch out missileer. Write down head missileer. Would you like to see the body? I would be delighted.
Sites, and for once, as you all hear from every one of our allies.
Don't try to drag everybody else into your fuck up, buddy.
Thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength. You're welcome.
And White House committee meeting audiences are the hottest fucking audiences in the world, bro. Which one of these doors is open and doesn't? The one that opens onto the shark pit. I didn't think that was very funny.
Later with Laura, Waltz says he may have been catfished.
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group. It looked like someone else. Now whether
Hey, who gives a fuck? I don't know. Maybe check twice, you asshole. You're discussing battle plans. That's not an excuse. Again, the worse he is, the more you are in the wrong for adding him to the chat. You would have been much better off like not attacking him this whole time, so that when it came time to owning up to it, you could have gone, look, Goldberg is a decent human being. You know, that's why he probably was in somebody's phone, because as much as we disagree, he's always been on the up and up, and he clearly did not share any of this stuff with our adversaries or print any of it in a way that would endanger our troops, right? You have the ability to, but when you call him a fucking scumbag, all that means is you let a scumbag in. Explain yourself. And it's the only question that matters. Reporters at the White House, the only question that matters is, if Jeffrey Goldberg is such a sleazebag and a liar and a hoaxer, why did he, of all people, get added to the chat? What does Sean Hannity feel left out, and have you sent him flowers?
Did it deliberately, or it happened in some other technical mean is something we're trying to figure out.
Journalist.
It happened in some other technical means. Yeah, the Jewish space laser. That's my guess. That's what I think. Yeah, it's got to be, right. It's got to be the. Do I have a? I don't even know that I have a Jewish space laser. No, nothing. I need to get a Jewish space laser sound effect. Something like that. Hold on. Which would this? That's more like a Jewish wizard. That doesn't quite work. Sorry. Oh, I got it. Here. This will work, Jesse. This is a Jewish space laser. You can see with because it's Jewish and it uses anti-Semitic tropes. So I figured that's the noise what a Jewish space laser makes. Get it?
Goldberg will sometimes send out fake names with a contact with their
Followed by oi.
cells to deceive politicians. Wall says Elon and Big Balls are on the case. This wouldn't surprise me if Goldberg sneaked his way in. He's the lowest
Hey, ask what?
low.
He's the low. Wait. Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 fucking years. So fuck off with the lowest of the low. Secondly, you're telling me that the National Security Advisor, the Director of National Intelligence, the CIA head, and Trump's National Security Advisor use a system that sucks so bad the lowest of the low can just sneak in. Wouldn't you say that there's a flaw in the overall system that is far beyond whether or not Jeffrey Goldberg ever had access to fuck me. I want to find, hold on. I think it's in here. Let's see. I'm going to need this one.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
Okay. I needed that for me.
Guy who reported that Trump didn't want to pay for a Gold Star funeral. Remember, he said it doesn't cost $60K to bury an effing Mexican. Total lie.
No, not a total lie.
Goldberg's the guy who said that Trump called American soldiers suckers and losers. Lie.
Not a lie. They do this whole thing where he called them suckers and losers at the funeral site. He didn't. He said that, what was in it for them? That kind of thing. And so he dismissed their sacrifice as lacking some sort of like positive egomaniacal self-interest. The suckers and losers stuff is from the past, and they overlap that. They go, he never called them suckers and losers in the actual gravesite. Well, nobody ever said he did. So they create, this is the same obfuscation bullshit that Tulsi Gabbard is doing.
This guy's fine people, P-tape, can't trust him. Goldberg held.
Hold on. You don't have to trust him. Fuckwad, you don't have to trust him. As a matter of fact, again, you're just digging this hole fucking deeper. You don't have to trust him at all. The National Security Agency has verified that the text is real. The text chain is real. These are real things written by real people that are real fucking dumb. And you are trying to support those people by saying you can't trust this guy. Throw out all the pros in his article. Throw out all the how he felt about it, the timing of it in his own mind, and just read the text directly from the chain. His character at this point is immaterial.
This bombshell for a week and then dropped it the night before half the group chat was set up to testify on Capitol Hill. And they testified.
Well, in his defense, they were working it out with the lawyers for like a week. And sorry, he should have held it off until after they were done testifying, so they wouldn't have to come back for another 3 fucking months.
And said, yeah, we use Signal. Biden gave it to us.
One of the first things that happened when I was confirmed
Oh, by the way, this is a lie.
CIA director was Signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers.
Yeah, the ones that are manipulating foreign and personal sources using Signal, and so you can keep an eye on it. Not so you can use it for classified shit, stupid.
One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of Signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a...
Yes, it's great. Send your fucking calendar that way. It's encrypted for all the low-res encrypted stuff you don't think should get out, but would have no material impact on your job. Send your lunch orders over Signal, because when you work at the CIA, it kind of be good that people don't know when and what you're eating all the time, so they can dust it with Balthorium G.
This that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Sorry, you can't shit on the Biden administration and say they were engaged in terrible shit if you just go ahead and do that stuff too. You can't start criticizing Signal because they used it successfully. They didn't have a problem like this, ever.
CIA had anything to do with this? Who knows?
Oh, I see. So the rest of the woke CIA is trying to fuck Ratcliffe by making Hegseth post shit in a chat. Because again, if he hadn't posted this, Goldberg wouldn't have a fucking story. If Hegseth had not posted the details of this strike before they happened, this story would be about just the accidental adding of someone to this chat. That's all it would be about. And it would fade, because it was a breach, but the breach was, they could have argued, well, it's in this low bubble of information. It's not really classified. We didn't really talk about classified stuff. Now they're trying to reclassify classified things as unclassified to cover their ass, because Hegseth is such a fucking moron that he posted the actual attack plans in it before they happened. What planes, what drones, what the follow-up with missiles will be, and the flight time required to get there, giving the enemy, if they had access to it, a schedule by which they could move around, avoid being struck, and fire back at our aircraft.
Biden staffers were on Signal.
And you never heard about it.
Democrat in D.C. uses Signal.
Right, but not for classified information.
Jasmine, not to be confused with Davy Crockett on Saturday.
We have all these Signal chats. If you don't have Signal, get on Signal, okay? Do not trust that. Get on Signal, y'all.
Democrats use Signal to deal with Christopher Steele, Mr. Dossier. Trump's team uses it to...
Again, none of this is about battle plans before they happen.
Terrorists. And now that's worse than the Pentagon Papers?
I don't know. Is that what she's going to say?
It's stunning. It's likely the biggest national security debacle that any professional can remember. This kind of planning for a military
An edit there for what reason?
operation should be done very carefully and very deliberately, not on a Signal chat, not with emojis. For the Trump people to be saying this chat shows how seriously they take the decision-making process makes me laugh out loud. We would never get on a Signal chat.
4 Americans were killed in Benghazi, and Susan Rice said it wasn't terrorism. She blamed a YouTube video for a protest that got out of hand. The happiest guy in D.C.
2 things can be true.
Today, Schumer. Finally, something took the heat off him.
I am calling for a bipartisan investigation in the Senate.
Oh, for the record, I would like to say this is not the only thing taking heat off of Schumer. I am taking heat off of Schumer. Schumer making the CR move forward instead of the Senate bill or the House bill, guaranteed that Trump's tax cut gets punted till later in the year when its chances of passing go right down the fucking toilet. Whereas if he'd had a chance at passing it right now in the first 100 days, he might have actually slipped the fucking thing through. And that's what they were hoping to do by shutting down the government. And Schumer took that away. And everybody else was like, you should just, duh. And it's fucking dumb. It's a bunch of people in a fucking arena looking at, you know, a gladiator and a lion and going, why don't you just punch him in the dick?
This mishandling. Any Senate Republican who was up in arms years ago about emails and unsecured servers should be outraged by the Secretary of Defense's carelessness.
Hillary homebrewed a server in her basement with thousands of classified files and then acid washed
How do you know?
it when she got caught.
How do you know? How do you know? Well, one, because she testified that they had the server, but she testified that they weren't classified. There were things that should have been classified possibly, but she had declassification rights as the Secretary of State. As you are arguing now, Pete Hegseth has. When Tulsi Gabbard says, I defer to the SecDef on what should be classified. So if he put this shit in there, then it's unclassified. Therefore, it's unclassified. If that's the case, and by the way, it was classified before it happened. Afterwards, it can be declassified or lower its classification. But all battle plans are fucking top secret before they fucking happen if they're in the process. Asshole. But in the middle of this, all of her stuff that, you know, like, well, shit, hold on. Let me back up, and I want to hear him say this again.
Server in her basement with thousands of classified files and then acid washed it when she got caught.
Okay. First of all, when you're leaving, you destroy all of your devices because you don't want them, you don't just throw them in the garbage, and they have to be wiped, if your private ones, especially if there was any crossover, just to make sure. It's a good safety measure. Secondly, she has the right to declassify things under the Secretary of State because of Obama's rules that he put in place the day he was sworn in the first time. They are arguing that the SecDef has the exact same right under anything in the Defense Department. So the Defense Department, the head of the SecDef can, if he wants to, declassify stuff just by putting it in a group chat. And where do they get that idea? They get that idea because Obama did that with all of his cabinet heads, that they have the right to classification, declassification in each of their departments. If it's a jump ball, they defer to up the chain. You have to ask the vice president or the president, who, by the way, both have the same declassification capabilities, equal.
And no one's being two-faced. It was an accident, maybe identity theft. And there is.
What? Sorry. It was identity theft? Like, sorry, somebody was catfishing Joel or Jeffrey Goldberg now? Are you just going to, what is it? It's just every possibility except for one. That's what the presentation here is. It's everything's possible except for one thing. Waltz and Hegseth are fuck-ups. Occam's fucking razor.
Investigation. And no one was two-faced on the chat either. The conversation.
Why would they have to be? We weren't worried about them being two-faced and duplicitous. By the way, wait, no. That might even be a lie. Hold on. That might be a lie. Hold on. This is, I still have it up here? Yeah. Stage on signal. Okay, where's the original one? Yeah, okay. Open link in new tab. There we go. So in the original story, they talk about multiple times. They show in this J.D. Vance's texts, which I believe are down here. So let me scroll down. I think they show. Yeah, here we go. J.D. Vance. I just hate bailing out Europe again. Let's make sure our messaging is tight here. If there's things we can do upfront to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. So he's afraid we can't attack the Houthis because they might retaliate by hitting Saudi oil facilities. That's his concern. Do you think that's what he says to the public? You think JD Vance, when he's asked about what were your concerns about this in that chat about, you think he'll go, well, I'm worried that the Houthis are going to strike the Saudis' oil facilities and drive up the price of oil, and they're our friends? Or is he just going to bullshit about it? Okay, so two-faced. The other thing, too, is he makes this assertion about the president. I don't know if they have the... that was their response. Okay, he goes, appears to be an authentic message chain. That's how we know it's real. Threat is a demonstration of deep and thoughtful policy. That's where they were responding to it. Emailed Waltz, Pete Hegseth, Ratcliffe, Tulsi Gabbard. I said, is it? He asked them about, is it real? This was after it. I wanted to find the part where the VP starts going up on all this VPF. I don't know why this is cut off here. Hold on. Okay, JD Vance said, 845. If you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing out Europe again. There was another one where he goes, I don't think the president understands VPI. Okay, they back up here. Joe Kent. Vance account. There you go. Account label Vance. Okay, here. Team, I'm out for the day doing an economic event in Michigan, but I think we are making a mistake. 3% of U.S. trade runs through the Suez, 40% of European trade does. There is a real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this is, as POTUS said, to send a message. Stay new, there was, where is it? Waltz related to Houthi PC group. At one point, the Vance says essentially, Andy Baker for VP. That was funny. That's the idea. And then point of contact for team. Okay, that's the established principles on it when they put it together. But at one point he says, I don't think the president understands the ramifications of this, in our economic policy. Yeah, here it is. I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with our message on Europe right now. So Trump is stupid, is the point here. I don't think the president is aware how inconsistent this is with the message on Europe right now. He can't either fathom it, or he hasn't bothered to, or he's too bullheaded to factor in anything else. That's what that sentence means. Now, do you think Vance says this out loud to Trump? Sir, I don't think you understand how inconsistent this is with our message on Europe right now. Right? Heck, who here can picture fucking Vance saying something like that? So piss off. Okay, there's a further risk that we see a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. I'm willing to support the consensus of the team, keep these concerns to myself, which again, you either have these concerns or you don't. But he's going to go along with the fucking communists and just go along with the groupthink and keep his concerns to himself. He goes, but if there is a strong argument for delaying this a month, doing the messaging on why this matters, seeing where the economy is, etc. But there's a strong message for this. There's a strong reason for this, and we're not going to do it. Sorry, you were saying something about identity theft. It
was professional, serious, and thoughtful, and most
and duplicitous.
Importantly, America first.
Well, I don't know. I think the VP's statements, you could argue, are Saudi first or are business first, but not necessarily in the interest of the United States. And then, so if somebody wants to do it this month, are they America first? Because you need to do it and we got to do this and this is important. Or the other people like America first policy would be wait and see. So there are different ways to be America first, I think, is the lesson we could draw from this. And not all of them align with the MAGA knee-jerk impulse way of doing things. Curious.
Vance, Hegseth, Walt, Stephen Miller, we're wrestling with the issue of why we're protecting commercial shipping for our allies when they're screwing us, not paying NATO dues and tariffing our exports.
They don't pay dues to NATO. They commit a certain amount of their GDP to military spending or NATO.
JD brought it up first, saying this, quote, I think we are making a mistake. 3% of U.S. trade runs through.
I wonder if he shows the I don't think the president understands quote. You think he'll put that up? Also, nice graphic, by the way, guys. I'm glad you gave him full Wi-Fi and only 2 fucking bars. Where the shit is he using this thing?
Suez. 40% of European trade does. There is a real risk that the public doesn't understand.
This is in Utha's parents' vacation house.
This or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this, as POTUS said, to send a message. But there is a strong argument.
They're cutting little pieces out. There's a lot of dots in this. Do you notice that? I don't know why you wouldn't put the whole part up and just highlight everything that's in it instead of cutting shit out. So that you could fit in your giant fucking phone picture, which, by the way, doesn't make anybody feel any better, asshole. Right? It doesn't make us feel any better that this conversation is happening on a fucking phone, right? This is a skiff level fucking conversation, you tit.
This a month. Stephen Miller responded this way, quote,
Jesus Christ, stop showing the fucking, like, the home screen.
The president was clear, green light, but we should make clear to Egypt.
But we should June. Some young moon, we should June. But we soon make clear to Egypt and Europe that we expect. It's nice of Jesse to fix the word for him instead of the person in the booth, I guess.
Europe, what we expect in return.
Yeah, new phone, who this? Right.
We also need to figure out how to enforce such a requirement. If Europe doesn't remunerate, then what? If the U.S. successfully restores freedom of navigation at great cost, there needs to be some further economic gain extracted in return.
We don't do it for their trade. We do it because it's crucial to making the U.S. dollar strong. The dollar being more important than to the trade route aspect of this than the goods themselves. Fuckhead.
Donald Trump agrees.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and J.D. Vance, the Vice President, said that the Europeans were freeloading. Do you agree with that assessment?
Do you really want me to answer that? Yeah, I think they've been freeloading.
The United States is protecting European trade at great risk.
No, we've been protecting the U.S. dollar as the economic oil of the engine of the economy of the world.
Great cost. We started doing this after World War II, so our allies.
So that the U.S. dollar would be the primary currency of the world, the vehicle of most stable and biggest exchange. Dum-dum.
Economies could recover and to create an alliance system against the Soviets.
What the fuck were we doing that for? What were we thinking? The Russians are our friends, right, Jesse?
It's almost, 100 years later, and the Soviet Union's collapsed.
No. No. It's turned into a kleptocracy and a mafia state with nukes.
Allies' economies have recovered. Quite well, actually. But we're still paying to protect BMWs going from Germany to Asia.
Because American shareholders have stock in BMW in a way that they didn't in the fucking 1950s.
Chardonnay going from France to Japan. Protect pasta from going from Italy to Indonesia. All right.
Why would you need to take pasta from Italy to Indonesia? I'm fairly certain Indonesia has pasta. They might call it something else.
You're taking advantage. So you want your ships protected?
By the way, real quick, how do you have a map of the Earth? Like, is everyone on your show just fucking phoning it in? Did they leave an hour ago and say lock up when you're done? Jesse, are you borrowing Greg Kelly's studio?
Tariffs. That's the deal. And the Cold War is over.
I mean, wouldn't you even, and I know this is only me. I get it. I hear you. But wouldn't you at least zoom in on the fucking Suez Canal and the area? Oh, you can't. I know why. because you see how close it is to Israel, and that there are other reasons to protect this that have more to do with, less to do with trade, more to do with security for Israel and our other allies in the region, including even Qatar, which is home to the billionaire class of Hamas. Adorable.
Today's bigger threat's China. And how did China become such a threat?
First of all, I needed a citation needed that they are currently, and don't get me started on the population collapse.
They freeloaded off of the free trade that our Navy protects.
No. We shipped a lot of production over there so that we could have cheap goods and increase the standard of living for every American exponentially over the last 3 decades.
His Navy doesn't guarantee safe passage on the
Also, MAGA hats were made in China. Fuck you.
seas. Our Navy does. And we're paying to protect a predator.
No. We're also protecting this. Our Navy patrolling the South China Seas is so that they are positioned in case China decides to fuck around under the guise of simply protecting the shipping lanes. Also, there are other countries in the South China Seas, even though the name kind of makes it seem like there aren't, where there are pirates and there are conflicting economic interests and militaries of the world fucking around like Russia, intermittently trying to stop billions of dollars worth of goods so that they can get a toehold on their competitors.
Is dumping cheap steel and EVs into our markets, undercutting our
cheap steel and EVs. Oh, he means Teslas. Right.
businesses. America is being victimized by a post-World War II order that we set up.
Yeah, you heard that right. We're our own worst enemy, America. We just carbo loaded. That's what we did. We started and we couldn't stop, and we just snacked our way into hell. Set up all a situation where we have more caloric availability to us than any other country on the planet, and people are starving across the world, and we are gaining weight, and we have to deal with that part of it. And everyone has so much stuff that the fastest growing industry in the United States is storage, because China is destroying us.
But one that's past its expiration date. The group chat was asking, if Iranian proxies are taking pot shots at German commercial vessels on their way to Asia, why isn't Berlin killing Iranian proxies? And if we're going to do it,
by the way, the Europeans do partner with us on this.
Pay for it and take the risk. Shouldn't Germany pay us a premium?
No, because we do it for the dollar, not for the goods.
Or at least step up and protect Ukraine or drop their tariffs.
Yeah, they are doing that.
American whiskey and Cadillacs.
Well, they didn't have those until Trump came in and tried to capsize their industry.
Any deep thinkers in the Democrat foreign policy establishment even have conversation? Or are they just living in the past?
I'll have this conversation with you anytime you want, dum-dum. Now, look, the sum total of the foreign policy and the national security policy of Stretch Ben Shapiro here is turn America into a gated community and build a wall around the entirety of it, and we'll be just fine because we don't need anybody. Somewhere between Howard Hughes living in a tower, pissing in mason jars, and the jerk walking down the street going, I need this and this. I need my dog. I don't need my dog. That's the future Jesse Waters has for us.
And it's cute for the Democrats to be worried about national security after they slept with spies. Let spies drive them around. And
hold on, slept with spies. First of all, Maria Butina, let's just start there. That the NRA had a honey trap Russian wandering around, getting into right-wing circles from a country that has, it is only under Hungary insofar as its strict gun bans for citizens.
classified documents in their open garages.
Really, you want to throw that one around? Turlet at Mar-a-Lago. At least the garage, by the way, is a private property. It's not like they don't rent it out like a fucking Airbnb.
At least the president takes responsibility.
Do you think that Mike Waltz made a mistake, and does he need to apologize?
No, I don't think he should apologize. I think he's doing his best. It's equipment and technology that's not perfect. And
yeah, that sounds like he's taking responsibility. It's my phone. You know what? My phone died. I was totally going to call, but my phone, it was just, I don't know what it was. It was like flicking. And every time I would start it up, it would just start blinking and then it would go out. And then I would hook it up to the charger and I'd get the little battery thing, but it would have the little lightning bolt through it. So I thought it was charging when it means it actually needs to charge. And when you plug it in, the cable, like the lightning bolt goes away and that means or is it the other way around? Fuck. And you know what? It's the phone's fault.
probably he won't be using it again, at least not in the very near future. What do you think?
Sir, I agree with you. Let's get everybody in the room whenever possible.
And if they're not, back to signal. How is that taking responsibility?
Forgives when politicians tell the truth. He didn't get 13 Americans killed during an airlift and call it a success.
Sure he did. Yeah, he did. I mean, for all this shit about the military plan, you don't take the military out first. You take them out last, right? Even though the last person to leave as part of the lift was part of the 6,000 troops that were added by the Biden administration to help evacuate the civilians. What you don't do is release 5,000 terrorists from jail before you start evacuating your civilians. You set a date and you go, hey, here's what's going to happen. We're going to be out by this date. And on that day, those guys can go free. Not before. You don't release them. And then as they start cascading across the fucking country, leave it to the next guy to get you out of it before those people reach the area, surround your embassy, and kill a bunch of people because they didn't get the fucking memo.
He didn't open the border and get Americans killed and call it secure.
No, he just let Venezuelan migrants stay in the country for 18 months with deferred enforcement, knowing full well that the Russians were sending people from Africa and other countries through Venezuela to pretend they were Venezuelans as they came up here and hoping, I guess, that one of them would do something awful so they could blame it on Biden.
Trump White House told Axios this.
And success, I guess.
We can easily handle what would kill any other administration. This will blow over. In 48 hours, no one will care about any of this. It's a faux media event. Nothing really to nip in the bud. No one will lose their job over it. I'm willing to bet they don't use Signal in the future. Trump says...
Sorry, who said that? This, who quoted this on the Nothing Burger? I mean, if it's nothing, obviously they're not afraid to show their face, tell you, add their name to the story.
And get Americans killed and call it secure. The Trump White House told Axios this. We can easily...
The Trump White House told them.
Handle what would kill any other administration. This will blow over. In 48 hours, no one will care about any of this.
The building said this.
It's a faux media willing to bet. It's basically the only glitch in 2 months. And it turned out not to be a serious one.
Well, that's because Jeffrey Goldberg is a decent human being who didn't reach out to the Iranians for comment when it was going to happen. Hey, do you know they're about to bomb you? Do you have guys in this area? We're just asking.
The only thing we'll remember are the emojis.
No. We'll remember the battle plans that Pete Hegseth put in there because there will be a trial. There will be charges. Dum-dum. By the way, you're watching HalSparks Megaworldwide. Hi, chat room. Welcome back. Hit that like, share the show, super chats, and etc. and all the shit I'm supposed to say as a professional streamer. Beautiful streamer. All right, now, Trump was on Greg Kelly, and literally, and then they did an interview. Sorry, and he and he's looking fabulous. He doesn't at all look like fat Elvis at this point. You could, I think that there's a reason why a bunch of, some like redneck fan base of Trump's. Why is this? I gotta shrink this down. Command. There you go. And he looks, by the way, can I just say, Trump apparently hates that painting of himself. You know, that one that he was like, ugh, Trump painting hates whatever. Okay. Yeah, here, shit. This is the, I gotta say, if I may, I kind of nailed it. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, this is like, I know you hate it, asshole. This is the picture that he hates. He hates looking at it. He hates people seeing it. It's the Streisand painting. Yeah, pretty much right there. As a matter of fact, his face seemed to have been getting slimmer, probably the Ozempic during this time. But now, and maybe he's stress eating again, his cheeks are blimping up to the point where he's matching the painting again. It's pretty dead on. He hates that picture. I'm going to need to make a pop-up of that, clearly. All right. And also, I want to say Steve Witkoff brought back a painting of Trump from Russia. And I hope to God somebody in the NSA is ignoring Mike Waltz and taking a fucking bug detector to that thing. Not that they're going to hear anything, just him farting and yelling Diet Coke and Stephen Miller trying to say, you're a genius, boss, with his mouth full.
Mr. President, it is great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You happy?
Hi, you happy to see me? I missed you. You're the best. I don't know what I would do if you weren't here with me. I don't even have that one anymore, do I? Nope. Heck, I need you. I'm gonna mess without you. I miss you so damn much. Oh,
I don't.
Yeah.
But happy. I'm thrilled to be here. We're gonna make this a much better country that's suffered greatly over the last 4 years. Like no.
Yeah, no, we haven't. Especially not compared to other countries.
Can believe with the border and with the inflation and with all of the horrible things that took place. But we're going to make it great. We had a tremendous 2 months, and I think we're going to make it back where we had it and beyond.
President Trump.
Back where we had it and beyond. So worse than COVID. Awesome. Here we go.
Ask you about something that I think the American people don't know enough about, and that is
and that is math. Can you explain? Algorithm is such a big. It sounds like it belongs in music, but it can be very confusing to people.
attack on you in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the follow-on attack in West Palm Beach. This is something that
I'd like to remind you of your mortality in front of you, just in case it makes you, I don't know, prime to someone and feel like they're like the son you never had.
Cheney said publicly in a video. He said, in our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He said that in a campaign video for his daughter. His daughter has said equally horrendous things to me.
So that's why a Republican shot at him. I got you. Okay. So is that, you think that's his reasoning? You think, whoops, move this over here, you weirdo. Oh no, move out of the way. Continue. Okay.
It was an invitation, quite frankly, to somebody in or out of government to do something bad to you.
Yeah, especially a Republican who would listen to Dick Cheney.
That is possibly a crime, but overall, we don't know enough about.
No, you could be a threat to our democracy without being a material, violent threat. You know what I mean? That's again, it's like saying what's a good example? Like inflation is probably the biggest threat to our overall economic health in the long term, and is the one thing that could eat our economy more so than debt or whatever. Right? You could make that case. It's in that realm.
happened. How do you feel about that? Was it possibly government involvement?
Well, we don't know, but
Yeah, we do. First of all, she was a congressperson, and then she wasn't. And then Dick Cheney isn't vice president. So, and he was a Republican.
when I hear a statement like that from a guy that got us into spending think of it, they spent billions and billions, almost $1 trillion in the Middle East, blowing up everything, killing people.
Almost $1 trillion? Almost. Try 7.
Over the place, engendering tremendous hatred. What a mess. And then just leave. We leave with.
Yeah, why wouldn't they stay president? Why wouldn't he just, I mean, if you're in there and you've got this war going, why would you ever leave office? Oh, right. Term limits.
Thing. And he got us in along with Bush. It was one of the worst decisions ever made in the history of our country.
Well, at least we agree Republicans suck.
I hear a guy like that make that statement. And, you know, I did something that he couldn't do. He had a certain person that worked for him that they didn't take proper care of.
Scooter Libby?
Scooter Libby. And Scooter Libby was very badly treated by him and Bush. And he took a fall for them, frankly, and they didn't take care of him.
So sorry, you were against what they did in the Middle East. It cost us a lot of blood and treasure. And your answer was to pardon one of the main people involved in it.
I didn't do it for him. I did it because Scooter Libby was treated very unfairly.
No, he was fair would have been they would have gotten the same thing, not he didn't get anything at all.
When I hear that stuff, and then the daughter goes out, she runs for office in a state that they virtually owned, and she loses by the largest margin in the history of Congress. You know that? The largest margin, like 44 or something.
Or something in a primary, and also the state has like less than 1 million people in it.
And they've got to screw loose. They've got to screw loose.
About a month ago or so, you said they were going to brief you on what happened, what they know, the investigation. Has that happened? Is there anything you can share with us? And maybe.
Yeah, it's only been a month, Greg. Okay.
Should be a commission. Maybe there should be something else.
So it is. It has happened, and they don't seem to think there was anything other than abnormal people.
Okay, sure. So I'm glad we covered it then. What more could you ask for? I guess. So that's it. That's what you're gonna get, Greg. They looked into it. Sorry, just a crazy dude, lone gunman. Nothing to see here. Greg Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. A disappointment, not just to Trump, but to himself as well.
And I'll assume that's true. They do have.
Can we call him Peg Kelly? Ouch.
A case coming up, a case that a lot of people don't.
Wouldn't it be Pegged Kelly? I don't know. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
But it's coming up. Really, sort of a third case, I guess you'd say. And so we'll see how that one works out. But, you know, it's a dangerous profession being president. If you look, race car drivers, think of this, 1/10%. Bull riders, 1/10%. Presidents, I won't tell you the number, but it's big.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous profession. Why didn't you tell me this? You could have told me this, please.
It's a nice thing to joke about, I guess. No other president felt the need to do it, but I would also like to point out that that's a per capita
And
issue.
you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
There's just been a lot fewer presidents. So, and a lot of them, by the way, were killed when we didn't have things like the Beast and we didn't have the capabilities we have now, modern technology being what it is.
This would-be assassin crooks had apps that they can't.
Yeah, like Signal. Who the fuck uses Signal? Clearly criminals.
Into foreign, sophisticated.
Telegram.
Let's face it, the national security team was using Signal. And I know you just spoke about that.
Yeah.
Are you concerned, number one, about anybody on your national security team keeping in touch with a guy like Jeffrey Goldberg? So it suggests that perhaps they've been.
Greg, oh, wait. Let me clear something up real quick. May I? Greg is jealous. That's what this all wraps up. This isn't, oh my God, someone was privy to a national security discussion that could have gotten our soldiers killed. No, Greg was like, a reporter got invited and it wasn't me. Damn it. Is Brian Glenn the other Brian? I knew it, son of a bitch.
To him. It suggests, it doesn't guarantee that, but that seemed kind of weird.
Yeah, Goldberg's bad news. It's the Atlantic. It's failing. It's probably going to be out of business soon.
No, even if it was on its way down, you basically given it a lifeline. Dumb.
And it's a terrible magazine. They made up all sorts of stories about me with standing over the grave of soldiers. There's nobody that treats the military better than me, and they treat me
because Congress puts those things through.
Well, too. They showed that in the election, but they
also this is his soft way of pretending that he's the one who signed the VA Choice Act of 2014, which Obama signed.
They write stories. It's such a disgrace, and there are plenty of others also. But Goldberg's a loser. His magazines.
Yes, he's a loser. He's dangerous. He's stupid. He hates America. He's the lowest of the low. He's scum. Pig, dog, scummy person, and your dude invited him to a top secret chat.
Loser. And what it was, we believe, is somebody that was on the line with permission, somebody that was with Mike Waltz, worked for Mike Waltz at a lower level.
Staff. Okay, so this is where Jesse Water got it from, watching Greg Kelly's reporting.
Had, I guess, Goldberg's number or called through the app. And somehow this guy ended up on the call. Now, it wasn't classified, as I understand it. There was no classified information.
As I understand. Did Tulsi Gabbard teach you how to say, like, the plausible deniability stuff?
Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours?
Yours. Damn.
No problem, and the attack was a tremendous success.
Because Jeffrey Goldberg didn't tip him off.
I can only go by what I've been told. I wasn't involved in it, but I was told.
Yeah, you don't know. You know, last to know. Plausible deniability.
And the other people weren't involved at all. But
sorry, what?
I never thought anybody could forget so much so fast without a severe blow to the head.
You what?
Attack was a tremendous success. So I can only go by what I've been told. I wasn't involved in it, but I was told by, and the other people weren't involved at all. But I feel very comfortable, actually.
Sorry. The other people, I'm sorry, was Jeffrey Goldberg and Hegseth just alone on this fucking chat? What are you talking about? What does that even mean?
So I can only go by what I've been told. I wasn't involved in it, but I was told by, and the other people weren't involved at all.
I presume he means everyone else in the world who wasn't on the chat, minus everyone in his national security and IC team and Jeffrey Goldberg. But everyone else, presumably, I hope, including the Houthis, were not in on the call. It was a party line. It was just a bunch of people like, you know, hey, 976 hangout. You calling tonight? I don't know why I'm using the old-fashioned ring phone, but fuck it. Maybe that's my grandmother's and she still has it. What are you guys doing tonight? We're making buttermilk. Crazy. It's a 1935 party. Sorry.
I feel very comfortable, actually.
You were on the phone.
Great. So the chair's working out. You don't feel like you're going to fall off of it or anything?
In the golf club, you were on a hard line. Are you concerned? Hey, no more signal. Or actually,
well, I like hard lines, but the best way is to be.
Sorry, you do?
I like wood.
You like hard lines, do you, buddy? That's the story. All right, we're sticking to it.
Well, actually,
you were on the phone that day in the golf club. You were on a hard line. Are you concerned? Hey, no more signal. Or actually,
well, I like hard lines, but the best way is to be in the Situation Room or some other room where you're all together.
Yeah, some other room. You know, like the dining room on Little House on the Prairie, a basement at Little St. James Island. You know, places that he's comfortable.
You don't have anytime you have a line, whether it's air or whether it's hard.
Yeah. Airlines are something totally different. An airline is not what we call traditionally a cell phone. Yeah. Airline, whether airline or hard.
Altogether, where you don't have, anytime you have a line, whether it's air or whether it's hard, there's
Oh my God.
a risk that people are listening.
One more thing on
There is, yeah, I have a problem. People listening in on airlines. I mean, you can barely hear it over the hum of the plane and the crying baby, but you know, pretty close, I guess. Hold on. This is the. We have a. We're using an airline right now, so that this covers the sound of the talking, so that no one can. Yeah, great. Shit, he's gone. Don't say anything top secret until another airline goes overhead, because then people can hear us. Now, oh, good. So we're going to hit the Houthis in about 2 hours. 2 hours. I'll write it down. Son of a bitch. Just show this to him. Oh my God, the note blew away. Motherfucker. And scene.
Is it possible that doing business through a secure line, even on a cell phone, is so cumbersome?
Yeah, cell phone. That's what this means now. Cell phone. It means shaka brother ganja, also means cell phone. Cell phone, brother. Ah, excellent. Cell phone to you too. Hey, aloha, cell phone.
I've heard it can be very, very difficult, almost difficult on purpose. You know, they were leaking, the intelligence community was leaking on you during the first term.
Yeah.
Is this a way around that, perhaps?
Sorry, your entire intel team is using Signal to whisper behind your back. Now, I don't know. If you look at what the vice president said, Pegged Kelly might be onto something.
You got to have the right people. You know, we had some people that I inherited and that were recommended by rhinos or others. And
and now you got the best of the best. That's how you got this scandal.
I gained a lot of experience in that first term, and we have wonderful people now. We have tremendous people. That's why when you look at what's happening with the economy, how well we're doing, even the prices. You know, when I came in, everyone was complaining about eggs, the cost of.
Yeah, fucking eggs. And now we're buying eggs from Turkey to drive down the wholesale price, even though the consumer price hasn't gone down. But fuck them. We're using the producer price and just pretending.
I said, I've been here a week. They were trying to blame me, and I was here a week. And, you know, they're down almost.
You said you could do it immediately.
50%. And there's plenty of them. I mean, they've done an amazing job. My people have done an amazing job.
You mean Biden administration months ago culling a bunch of chickens and then them growing up and it taking about 8 to 10 months to start producing eggs again? When the chick grows up into a chicken that can actually make eggs. How long is it? Somebody in the chat knows. Hold on. How long? Let's see. How old does a chicken need to be to make eggs? 18 weeks. Sorry, it's not even that fast. 18 weeks. Yeah, it's about okay. That's not, so last fall, right? Okay.
About the price of groceries and how
yes, groceries
expensive it was, and I campaigned on it. In all fairness, I haven't used the word grocery. It's like an old-fashioned word.
No, it isn't.
Really, it's not, and people understand it. And
what? And by the way, you do realize this is you being out of touch, right? This is only an elite would say the word groceries. Oh, Charles, listen to this. Yes, Edna wants the weekend off. Yes, because she's got something wrong with her leg, apparently, and her mother is incapacitated and needs someone to go out and pick up. Oh, it's adorable. Groceries for the family. You don't say. Oh, yes. Groceries. What's involved in that? Do you carry them in a bag?
Campaigned very hard on groceries, and
hard on groceries. That's the name of my punk band.
They're coming down very much. If you look at your gasoline prices, it's really coming down tremendously, and that's bringing other prices down with it. So
no, No, it's not.
And I have really great people, but
Notice he's talking about his economic team. I mean, in his defense, Scott Bessent was on this fucking signal thread for some unknown fucking reason other than, I guess, trade.
a period of time. You know, I never did this before. Remember, I was a real estate guy from New York. I wasn't a Washington, D.C. person, so I didn't know a lot of people in Washington.
Yeah, but you said the people in Washington didn't know how to do anything, and you know all the people, the best people were in New York, the business people, the smartest people from the academic world and from the business world, and you would bring those people to Washington to clean everything up. You didn't need anybody locally because you knew hashtag the best people.
And when I came here, I had to rely on on others. And by the way, I had some
on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money.
people. I got the largest tax cuts in history. I got the largest.
No, he didn't.
Regulation cuts in history. I rebuilt our military.
This is sad when Greg realizes he's watching a rerun.
They shouldn't have given a lot of it to a place called Afghanistan in one of the dumbest, worst days or periods of time in the history of our country. I think.
Yes, days or periods of time. It's kind of like how you interpret the Bible. Yom in the original text of the Bible can mean a day, but it can also mean a millennium. So arguably, God could have created the earth in 6 billion days and then rested in the 7th billion. He's been resting this entire time, which explains a lot.
The most embarrassing period of time in the history of our country, but
yeah, especially the period where you ran on getting us out and you didn't.
They shouldn't have given so much, but
I'm sorry, how much did you give during your presidency? You were there for 4 fucking years. It ended under Biden.
Some great people, but I had some people that I wouldn't have used. Now I have a team that's really fantastic, and I think you see.
Yeah, we can tell they're doing a bang up fucking job.
Results. We have Apple is going to spend $500 billion. The biggest chip maker is going to spend fortunes. I mean, just fortunes of money coming out of Taiwan. We have
because of the Biden administration, the CHIPS Act, and because national security points to the fact that we need chips made in the States. So the seed money was given under that. We know this.
Steel plants being built at levels we've never seen anything like it. And
yeah, we have far better, actually, especially in the early days before we started outsourcing them to drive the cost of cars down.
Going up fast. Honda just announced they're building in Indiana, one of the biggest. And
yes, it'll employ all of 17 people once it's built.
Nation's doing really well. And a lot of that's the results of November 5th. And a lot of it is also the tariffs.
No one has.
What tariffs?
And I'll have to get back to the tariffs, but if you don't mind, no one has spoken as boldly and with as much truth as you about Ashley Babbitt.
Oh my God. Yes. Greg is convinced Ashley Babbitt was his dream girl, and if they'd have just gotten together, they could have been happy if the townsfolk hadn't driven them out.
It was a bad shooting. My father can tell you that. Anybody.
It's a terrible thing.
I don't know if you know this, but the Department of Justice right now is still kind of fighting that case. The family of Ashley Babbitt is suing the government wrongfully.
Fuck them, fuck her. No. Dude, there's video of her bashing a window and crawling through. She had a knife in her bag. She was with armed people. She was the first one through the breach. She saw the guy with the gun. They all knew there was a person guarding the gun on the other side, guarding the wall with a gun on the other side, because there was fucking glass. They were smashing it. They pulled the cops in front of it because they figured it was barricaded and none of these assholes would actually go through it. And then they did. She had a knife. She didn't comply. And to use the phrases that they like to throw around.
The DOJ right now officially is still opposing that law.
Yeah, because it was a good shooting. It's sad. And her death is Trump's fault. She had agency as a human being, but she was clearly spun, and Trump wound her the fuck up and gave her permission in her mind to attack members of Congress.
Trying to justify it.
What if we found out, I'm just going to float this for a second. Think about this while you're napping. What if we found out that Ashley Babbitt was the bomber? What if we found out that's who that was? That, like another blonde we think is walking around. What if that's why They haven't gone further into it because case fucking closed.
Shouldn't that be something that can just be settled at this point?
Well,
Oh, can't you just give her family their money because her sister looks kind of like her and she promised me dinner if.
to that, I mean, you're just telling me that for the first time. I haven't heard that. I'm a big fan of Ashley Babbitt, okay? And Ashley
Yeah, huge. Got all her albums.
Babbitt was a really good person who was a big.
No, she was not. She broke into the Capitol. She joined a crowd in beating police. She stepped over the blood-stained tile in the Capitol to gain entry. And then when they busted a hole through that wall, that barricaded door, she punched a dude in the face so she could be first through the breach. If she'd have let him go, he'd have died. Now, I got to tell you something. If Ashley Babbitt had not punched that dude and gone through the glass first, there'd be two people that would have been shot that day because the dude would have gone through, he'd have gotten shot. And then she would have, because she's fucking bananas, would have tried to go through a second time like, oh my God, you motherfucker, and gone through, and she would have died too. She arguably saved that guy's life by punching him in the face.
A MAGA fan, Trump fan, and she was innocently standing there. They even say trying to.
Innocently standing there. Wait, she was what? And then, hold on, I want to hear the tail end of this. What fucking.
And she was innocently standing there. They even say trying to sort of hold back the crowd.
No, they don't. No, they don't at all, ever. No one ever said that. She wouldn't have. If she'd have survived the fucking bullet wound, she would go, fuck you, dude. I was fighting for America. I was trying to get through that door. I was going to kill fucking, I don't know, AOC or somebody and like wear fucking Nancy Pelosi's skin. There's video, you dumb motherfucker.
And a man did something to her that was unthinkable when he shot her.
No, it was very thinkable. As a matter of fact, if you're in that situation, you're like, I should probably think about this because that guy's pointing a gun in our way. And if I try to get through this door, he might use it because he's justified. I am trying to break through a barricaded door where unarmed public servants are on the other side of it with a group of people who are screaming, who have built a fucking gallows outside. Of course, it's justified.
And I think it's a disgrace. I'm going to look into that. I did not know that.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah, tell you what, look, it's right on Pam Bondi's desk, right under the Epstein files.
And the officer who shot her, Michael Byrd, is still on duty. They gave him a raise and they gave him a medal and I believe a promotion.
I think it's a disgrace.
He's a federal.
Why? Why do you think it's a disgrace? And by the way, if you think it's a disgrace, then I guess anybody can just bust into the White House. I don't recommend this. Bust in through the White House. Just come in. As long as you come in through a fucking window, it's okay.
Would you or could you do something?
I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to look.
Bullshit. Bullshit, Greg. Stop.
That too. His reputation was, I won't even say, let's find out about his reputation, okay?
Because you don't know. You're just trying to suck up to fucking Greg because you need him.
To find out. But I watched that and I saw that. And by the way, she was killed, but nobody else was killed.
Roseanne Boylan was stomped to death while she was having having an overdose. Oops. Let's see. I think that's her name. Roseanne Boylan. Oh, that's yeah. Hold on. Snip the Fanon, the QAnon monsters and martyrs. I'm trying to find like an article on it. Shows moment woman was yeah. Let's see. I'll just put the reader version on this. Hold on. Because I don't want to show the video. Disturbing body cam video shows moment woman was trampled to death in Capitol mob. The woman was identified as 34-year-old Roseanne Boylan, one of 4 Trump supporters who died in the riots. 4. Newly released body cam video shows the moment a woman was trampled to death during the assault on the U.S. Capitol earlier this month. A desperate friend pleaded for the mob of rioters to back off. She's dead. I need somebody. She's dead, the friend screamed amid the chaos. The woman was identified as 34-year-old Roseanne Boylan of Georgia. She was one of 4 Trump supporters who died in the riots. The 5th death during the insurrection was that of the police officer killed after a fire extinguisher was thrown at his head. He died stroke. That's the one they fight back on, whatever. That Boylan's brother-in-law was a former host of the HGTV show Groundbreakers. It's my own personal belief that the president's words incited a riot that killed 4 of his biggest fans. Meanwhile, the Washington Post obtained videos of the suspect wanted for planting 2 pipe bombs. The footage shows him. That's interesting. You're off the you're off the hook, Marge. Walking with a backpack. Okay. It says media removed because I blocked the thing. Roseanne Boylan was trampled to death, and she was on amphetamines the day. Oh, this is 2 years ago. All right. I was shown a video of Roseanne Boylan dying. I talked to a man who's Jan 6 suspended, giving her CPR. This is when Marge was talking about shit, going, Jan 6 defendants were abused because of the color of their skin. This is anti-white bigotry. Describe political prisoners. We've been accused of saying some video. Yeah, here we go. I was shown a video of Roseanne Boylan dying. I talked to a man who was a Jan 6 defendant giving her CPR before demanding public release of the video of her death. Some video of Boylan's death has been released. However, the New York Times some months ago published a full shot-by-shot breakdown of how she died based on a publicly available footage. Gomer pushed yet another conspiracy theory popular on the right. They're going to charge someone with insurrection. It's beginning to sound more and more like those who would be agents for the federal government that were they're stirring things up, trying to get people to engage in violence. So maybe she's not even dead. Maybe Ashley Babbitt, was a squib, and Greg, you're opening up an enigma trapped in a puzzle, locked in a Minecraft mod.
The people that went down there, they had no guns. They didn't have guns.
One dude had an entire truck full. Weapons presence. Firearms, tasers, knives, some of the types of weapons used and carried on and around Capitol grounds by rioters, according to U.S. Attorney's Office of District of Columbia, which published the status of prosecutions related to the Capitol attack. For example, police found a loaded handgun on Christopher Alberts, who was dressed in body armor and carrying a gas mask. Reuters reported. Shall we jump over to there and see that motherfucker? Arrested Capitol rioters had guns, bombs, everyday careers, and Olympic medals. They brought. Look, these are the rounds. Look at this fucking drum mag this motherfucker had. View of ammunition, magazines, and accessories in possession by Cleveland Grover Meredith Jr. after law enforcement searched his hotel room on January 7th after the Capitol storming in Washington. So he brought all this shit, and he brought his gun to the White House. But I guess this was for round 2. They'd be able to go back and reload. Federal prosecutors said they expect to bring charges against hundreds of people involved in the riot related to threats of violence. David Blair, a Trump supporter who lives in Washington suburbs, was charged with attacking a police officer with a stick. Came to the Capitol after seeing it had been overrun by a mob supporting the president because he wanted to, quote, witness history. I ended up still finding a way to get in trouble because I had so much pent-up emotion. Sealed cases and scanned details. People are going to be shocked by some of the egregious conduct that happened in the Capitol, Sherwin said. I know this one has pictures. These are older articles, so they're harder to hunt down. But point being is there were guns. There were multiple guns. There was a guy with a whole truckload of fucking guns. Remember the guy who, killed himself, was it? Let's see. January 6th, rioter commits truck in something like that. Capital rebellion. Trump supporters. Okay. Release top steel. Kevin Creason, 55. Benjamin Phillips, 50. Both died of heart attacks. Manner of death was deemed natural. President Cohen, supporter of Barack Obama. Creason had over the years become a written statement. Data was in a statement. Phillips, a computer programmer from Ringtown, Pennsylvania, died to a medical emergency because they keeled over during the thing. Roseanne Boylan, accidental overdose because she had a medical emergency in the riot and was crushed by her fellow rioters. But she was also, a month later, DC Medical Examiner released its conclusion. This is what I was talking about with Roseanne Boylan. The drug cited in Boylan's death is addictive and can be prescribed to treat attention deficit disorder and narcolepsy. Acute amphetamine intoxication. So she was jacked up on Adderall, Ritalin. What was it? What was it? Okay, they just got this shit. Homicide, natural, acute amphetamine intoxication. Washington Post. Whoop, open a new window. There we go. DC Medical Examiner released cause of death of 4 people who died during Capitol. 4 people, Ashley Babbitt, dead. Okay, Brian Sicknick, the officers who died. Then, where is she? Roseanne Boylan, yeah. Court papers filed by prosecutors in connection said Boylan had been trampled by the mob near the Capitol. In one account, friend tried to carry Boylan across the threshold to police just as at least 3 police officers were pulled into the crowd and beaten. They were trying to get the cops that they were beating up to resuscitate her. The nerve of these motherfuckers. I mean, it sounds like a federal conspiracy, doesn't it? Let's see. Greece's Valley, New York Times, going to collapse. Sidewalk on the west side of the Capitol. Father of 5 been talking to his wife on a cell phone at the time. Yeah, that guy keeled over and had a heart attack while he was, running stairs or something like that. This is the trampled by the mob story. Battle for West. Terrorist Capitol riot charges reveal details of police attacks. Federal prosecutors say this image from DC body cameras shows Kentucky car dealer Clayton Mullins, 52, in a red circle, dragging police officer by the leg on January 6th. Yeah, by the way, Greg Kelly, fuck you. And then they go through who else, I guess, was. Anyways, you guys get the point. We don't have to relitigate all of January 6th, for fuck's sake. Just, it's funny to me that, Trump doesn't know that 3 other Trump supporters died that day. 2 heart attacks and a drug overdose and a slash trampling.
There was something to do with the FBI. There was something to do with Antifa and others, and it wasn't mentioned. And
no, there wasn't. It was mentioned all the fucking time, and none of it went anywhere. Sorry, Ashley Babbitt. Let's just go with it. Fuck it. Ashley Babbitt was an FBI agent, and she was wearing a squib. The whole thing was a setup, and the reason they gave the cop who shot her a medal was because it was an acting award. It was like the Oscar of CIA FBI plots.
Never been a group of people, I think, with the exception of maybe over the years, a couple of groups were treated pretty harshly, but
what do you mean, the Klan?
Never treated so badly. And
yeah, but who cares? They're all FBI agents in Antifa disguised as diabetic Trump supporters.
As you know, I let them out with pardons. I know you were very happy. I watch your show all the time. You were extremely happy about it. And plenty of other people were too. People don't realize this whole movement that we have is just it's a very inspiring thing, what's happened to.
Yeah, people felt, if people had survived Jonestown, they'd probably speak the same way.
These people are incredible people. They were treated so unfairly, so horribly. Some of them didn't even go into the building. And the judge.
Yeah, by the way, a sniper doesn't have to go to a building. I'm just saying. None of the people, we don't have any evidence that the people who built the gallows went into the building. How about the bomber? Did the bomber go into the fucking building? Oh, yeah, it was Ashley Babbitt.
The system, the hate.
Let's just go with it. Hashtag Ashley Babbitt was the Capitol bomber.
The vitriol, the prosecutors, the way they wanted to destroy these people, people would
what was nothing compared to how these people wanted to fucking wear Nancy Pelosi's skull as a hat.
And they'd be so proud to go before court, and they'd have a good lawyer, and they'd walk out of court like devastated the way they were treated.
No, they wouldn't. They spit on the judge, or they would have never gone to jail in the first place. There's tons of video of these motherfuckers attacking cops.
They'd given years in prison.
Yeah, and they deserved it.
Oh, but I took care of them. I said I was going to, and I did.
Yeah. Hashtag, I guess, fuck the police. MAGA. God damn, this is so lame. Yes, and Trump does look terrible and tired. You're absolutely right. Now, can I show you one little piece of it? Do we have time? Shit, I'm over time. Let's do a little bit of, this is Patel, and this is a Republican asking him, and then they do kiss-ass answers, and then we go to the Democrats ask questions on that. In the House, it was very different than the Senate, because the senators, Republican and Democrat, seemed to have a level of seriousness in what they were doing. In the House, it was fucking rabble on the right. And then, like, just, you guys are awesome. High five, fucking five. And then the Democrats were like, what the fuck are you doing? This is nuts. This is the sort of show and tell moment. By the way, you're watching HalSparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm HalSparks, your host. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the show, etc., etc. This is where we first see the texts shown to these guys that have the battle plans, I think.
That reflect my position.
Thank you all. I yield back.
The gentleman yields. Mr. Krishnamurthy.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our witnesses for coming. Thank you for your service. Director Gabbard, you said no classified information was included in the signal chat, correct?
That's correct.
And President
were there materials that by the rules of DNI and the DOD, they would have been classified if anybody was smart enough to classify them?
Also said there was no classified information in the signal chat, and Secretary Hegseth said nobody was texting war plans. There was absolutely no classified info in that chat. Lieutenant General Cruz, I'd like to talk to you about a couple things real quick. Executive Order 13526, Section 1.4a. This is the Trump administration's executive order with regard to classified information.
Yeah, this was one, remember, because of Hillary, Trump was like, we're going to be the best about national security. We're going to show this bitch how it's done, right? That was from the first president, the first term.
It says, information shall be classified if its unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause damage to national security, including military plans, weapon systems, or operations. You don't disagree that that's accurately quoted, right?
That's an accurate quote from the executive order.
And DO. 5200.01, this is the DOD's manual on classification, says, quote, information shall be classified if its unauthorized disclosure could reasonably be expected to cause describable damage to national security.
Yeah, I'm getting what he's laying down.
Includes military plans, weapon systems, or operations. You don't disagree that I quoted that accurately, right?
That's also an accurate quote.
Can I show you I'd like to show you the text that Secretary Hegseth actually.
So, real good example here. Krishnamurthy's doing a kick-ass job here. You set the snare, and you got to be patient before you pull it. This is why Democrats, by the way, have so many prosecutors that end up getting elected, because in telling the truth and prosecuting the shit that Republicans lie about, it's almost like that requires a prosecutor's mentality. It's one of the reasons why people felt good about Harris as a candidate ultimately. But there's a ton of these. Yeah.
Public.
Goldman's another great example.
To the world. Now, Lieutenant General Cruz, as Ranking Member Himes said, it says, time now, weather is favorable, just confirmed with CENTCOM, we are a go for mission launch. Then it says at 12:15 Eastern, F-18s launch first strike package. F-18s are military systems, correct? Weapon systems.
They are.
Okay. 13:45, trigger.
This is how you do it. Don't ask him about the whole thing. Break it down.
F-18 first strike window starts. Target terrorist is at his known location, so should be on time. Also, strike drones launch, MQ-9s. MQ-9s is a weapon system, correct?
They are.
Okay. I think applying the executive order as well as the DoD manual to this fact pattern, we clearly have weapon systems that have been identified. That is classified information. Now, the reason why it's important that this information not be disclosed is that we don't want the adversaries to know what's about to happen, right, sir?
Well, I would draw a small distinction there. You referenced and asked if that platform, those two platforms are weapon systems. They are, but those terms are used all across the globe in a lot of contexts. So it's really about how they're used in the context of this particular document.
Right. You're splitting hairs, asshole. Don't try, because this is in the direct context that these are going to be used at this time in the future.
I just want to clarify that the use of those.
I understand.
Yeah, you can say airplane. You're allowed to say airplane sometimes. People say F-18s, and maybe like James does articles on drones, dumbass. Shame on you.
In this situation, those are
Context is the word you're looking for.
operational details.
They are operational details.
Shut up. Stop talking. That's all we need.
But again, as you quoted the DoD instruction, it's about operations. So as you further go down into what are the operational details, I think as we had a discussion yesterday, the important aspect, I think all of us are very familiar.
This is classified information. This is classified information. It's a weapon system, as well as sequence of strikes, as well as details about the operations. And so I think that just piggybacking off of what some other members have said.
Real quick, the only thing I would do differently with what Krishnamurti is doing here, and there's no reason why another Democrat can't do this with anybody when they're called back, especially. Bring up this text. Let me, I'll show you the actual piece of this. Bring up these texts that he's showing. I'm going to bring in, this, I'll just use this. This guy right here. Put this up on a big fucking board like he has it. And then go, I need to ask you a series of yes or no questions. F-18s, Tomahawks, the MQ-9s, that's up here. Sorry, it's in this other part of the MQ-9s right here. F-18s are airplanes, MQ-9s are drones, Tomahawks are missiles, correct? Those are weapon systems we use to execute, to wipe out the enemy. These are weapon systems. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, great. Now, this right here. Hold on one second. Target terrorist. Where is it? Here we go. The launch second straight package 1410, 1415, 1536, and 12:15 ET as Eastern time, and 13:45 are times, are they not? These are the whens in a plan. This is the missiles would be the what, the time is the when, and then the targets would be the where. Correct? This is when they're coming. This is where we know their window of distance, which would give you the where. And then the follow-up on where it was hit, so you know what they were ultimately talking. So you could backdraft how long the travel time, you could tell where the ship is from what it hit in that time window. So this is the what? The what, where, and when. Or I guess this would be the where. This is the where. What is the bombs? When is the time? Okay. How do you create a plan? You have a stated goal, which would be to wipe out a terrorist. Would that be a goal of the military? Yes or no? Yes. Or to eliminate a target or a missile system? Yes. Okay. The where and the when would be as far as like targeting and the range of what we're doing, how close we have to get, who has to be able to carry it out. Right. So the what, where, and the when, and the overall goal gives you a plan. The plan is a series of strategic actions that will lead to the goal being, I guess, successfully executed. So just fucking stop. Just get the what, where, and the when on record. And then ask Tulsi Gabbard, if I know what I'm using, when I'm using it, and where I'm using it for a specific goal, what would you call that? Would that be called a plan? If it's before the thing happens. If it's, are we engaged in a war on terror? Is the United States at war with Islamic fundamentalists? Do you think they are a threat to our national security and need to be dealt with as such? Do you see a difference between battle plan and war plan? Are you going to split hairs about battle plan or war plan? Stop it.
Using the DOD's manual as well as the executive order in operation today with the Trump administration, this text message is clearly classified information. Secretary Hegseth has disclosed military plans as well as classified information. He needs to resign immediately. He needs to resign immediately, and a full investigation needs to be undertaken with regard to whether other similar signal chats are occurring in this administration. I'd like to turn my attention to another topic.
Yeah, that's the other big one. Thank you just for laying that out there. Krishnamurti, that's it. We need an investigation to see if there are other signal chats where they're fucking around equally to this. And as they have oversight as a co-equal branch of government, they have every right to ask for it.
Director Patel, according to the DOJ, in 2022, the FBI led Joint Terrorism Task Force, JTTF, in my hometown of Chicago, valiantly led efforts to prevent a plot to attack Naval Station Great Lakes in Illinois. You don't dispute that, do you, sir?
I'm not familiar with it, but I don't dispute what you're telling me.
Thank you. A memo obtained by ABC 7 News of Chicago said that this task force will now be, quote, actively supporting, close quote, the Department of Homeland Security and its immigration enforcement. You don't dispute that either, do you?
I'm just not familiar with it, sir.
Okay. Sir, I just have to say, the DOJ has now tasked JTTFs to shift some resources to immigration enforcement efforts. And I don't say this lightly, if there's a terrorist attack anywhere in the country, including in Chicago, and it was because the JTTFs in part shifted resources, they'll be held to pay. Thank you, sir.
There is, you'll notice in the House and the Senate, either because of the length of their terms or the fact that there's only 2 per state or what have you, and that their time, while limited, they do get, broader discretion in talking about things and bringing committee hearings, and there's a little bit more comity than normal than there is in the House, that you'll see that they stay on topic more, that the Senate committee, the committee hearing on the House Intel group, or on the Intel group rather, they just stay on the fucking signal issue. They hold to it and they want to get to the bottom of it. The House, because of the districts they're in and all the priorities that the more localized the politics become, you'll see that they split their time over multiple statements. We'll jump into, here you go. This is, let's see if I can bring this back here. Say, we switch over. There you go. This is Crow. Hold on.
Advisory, right? What we've done is we put out.
Time's expired, Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Chairman. General Hawk, the NSA recently warned its employees not to use the Signal app. Is that correct?
By the way, this dude is like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of Obfuscation and Bullshit. This guy's the ability. This guy plays so cannot give a direct answer. He cannot. Listen to me trying to find a nice way to say it. He will. He wishy-washes fucking everything. And it's even weirder that he's in uniform and that he's a member of the military. Because you would think he would be the one. The guys on the other side are like, nope. Yep. I would make one distinction here because that matters. Details matter, you know, if you watch Reacher. But in this guy won't give the yes or the no with a, subsection D, hashtag this. He just goes, well, in a lot of places, there's a thing. I don't know if variability is whatever. Like every answer.
Congressman, is we put out cybersecurity advisories on a whole host of systems.
On the Signal app that was included in that advisory, right?
What we've done is we've put out an advisory on how to use the Signal app and other encrypted applications because we do encourage our employees and their families to use encrypted.
Because there's risk to that app.
There are.
Okay. General.
Just say yes.
DOD also issued a warning about vulnerabilities to the Signal app recently, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Director Gabbard, you were on the Signal text chain in question, correct?
Yes.
As was Mr. Whit.
But I'm so lonely and so sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm standing here in the middle of nowhere, waiting for the sun to shine, and it's never going to shine again.
Off the administration's lead negotiator with the Russians, correct?
Yes.
And at the time, Mr. Witkoff was actually in Russia during this chat discussion, was he not?
I was not aware of that.
Okay. Weasel in red is dancing with words again. Weasel in red. Hey, asshole. We saw what you did there. What you're saying is I wasn't aware of that, so that you could extrapolate to, legally what I said was I wasn't aware of that at the time I was on the chain because I didn't know where he was when we were talking about this shit openly. I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care to know.
Was he on his personal phone at the time?
I don't know.
You are the director. Oh, hold on. You are, what do I need? So let's try to do. You are the director of national intelligence. I have to say, it should be, we need to pass a law that the DNI can never say, I don't know.
Understanding that he was indeed in Russia. Director Gabbard, you were also traveling during this discussion, correct?
Yes.
And where were you?
But in all fairness, she was in Hawaii at a cult gathering where she was listening to her guru use the F word for gay people over and over and over.
I was traveling through the Asia Pacific region. I don't recall.
Oh, we don't have any. I mean, they don't have any listening devices over near, what's that country called? China. It's not very big either.
Which country I was in at that time.
You don't remember the country?
Really? You didn't look it up? You don't have your schedule in front of you? You didn't think this might come up?
I'd have to go back and look at the schedule.
Yeah, or maybe, I don't know, is your phone with you? Do you have your phone in front of you? Open it up if you're allowed.
Director Gabbard, I want to direct your attention again to the text chain. Where it says, just confirmed with CENTCOM, we are a go for mission launch. Does that indicate to you that there is about to be a military operation?
Yes, that this, whatever they're talking about, whoever it is, I can't imagine, that what they're talking about is happening in, I don't know, the future. It hasn't happened already, hence the use of future tense in the description of the motherfucker. All right.
Yes.
Director Gabbard, earlier in this hearing, we heard about the DoD's classification standards. I want to now turn my attention to your classification standards. You're the Director of National Intelligence. The Office
So sad.
Director of National Intelligence classification guide says, quote, information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing for an attack, end quote, is to be classified as top secret. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah, since yesterday.
Director Gabbard, have the Houthis indicated an ability to shoot down American aircraft?
Yes.
They have in fact done so, haven't they?
Yes.
Including MQ-9 Reapers, haven't they?
That's correct.
And that was one of the systems used in the attack recently that's the subject of this discussion, is it not?
Correct.
General Cruz, are you familiar with this system?
I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment, but...
Well, I'll help you out. This is an SA-3 anti-aircraft system.
Correct.
Are you familiar with...
What do we have for him, Johnny? Hold on. I feel like I need a ding, ding, ding. Where am I going to get that? How about... I need to get... None of my sound effects are useful at all. You're a winner. All right.
This next system.
I am.
What is it?
Well, you're taking your glasses off now? I don't trust this guy. He's probably Antifa.
I'm going to have to ask you.
It's an SA-6.
I'm going to guess that
this is also an advanced anti-aircraft system, is it not?
It is. It was used widely in the Balkans in the 90s, correct?
And the Houthis also have this system, don't they?
They certainly do.
And they've employed it against our aircraft, have they not?
They have attempted to, correct.
Yeah, but in all fairness, when they tried to do it before, they didn't get a fucking heads up from the SecDef when the planes were going to be overhead. Do you see what we're laying down? I'm sorry, we're talking. I can't discuss this unless we're on an airline because people can hear. Well, you know what? I'll just draw it in the sand with my dick.
I spent my life in service to this country. I deployed 3 times to combat in service to this nation. I learned in that time in service that responsibility is core to leadership. You accept responsibility when things go wrong. You admit mistakes. You set the standard from the very top. It is completely outrageous to me.
Outrageous.
Completely outrageous to me that administration officials come before us today with impunity. No acceptance of responsibility. Excuse after excuse after excuse. While we send our men and women downrange to do incredibly difficult, incredibly dangerous things on our behalf.
By the way, Crow nailing it. Fucking show the things the Houthis have to shoot our airplanes out of the fucking sky. Because there's a lot of people who believe that the Houthis just, they're like Hamas. They just pull up water pipes from, UN water systems and turn them into sugar bombs. These are very sophisticated systems. They've been at war with the Yemeni government, which is backed by the Saudis, who have money and arms. So they're obviously, if they've been able to go toe to toe with that, they are well armed as well.
And yet nobody is willing to come to us and say this was wrong. This was a breach of security and we won't do it again. It is outrageous and it is a leadership failure, and that's why Secretary Hegseth, who undoubtedly transmitted classified, sensitive operational information via this chain, must resign immediately. There can be no fixes. There can be no corrections until there is accountability, and I'm calling on the administration to move forward with accountability. I yield back.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, the Democrats don't let go of this. Keep at it, because I got news for you. More shit's going to come out. There are going to be other fuck-ups like this, and it might cost lives. You hang on to this not just because it's a political win, but because lives will be lost if this asshole is still allowed to be in charge of the to be SecDef. People are going to die unnecessarily because of Pete Hegseth and because of Tulsi Gabbard and because of John Ratcliffe. And they're going to claim that the people underneath them work very hard to protect this country and save this country, and they give their lives in support of this country and their country people. And I stand behind them. Okay, yeah, they do. They're having to work harder and put their lives in more danger because you guys are a bunch of fuck-ups. Our soldiers already put their lives on the line. Already offer their lives and their souls to their fellow countrymen, and you're making it more likely that they will die on the job, not less. Okay, we're at the end of 5:32. I think I ended up talking long enough where we can I could send you guys on a raid over to see our dear friend Boston Brian. Is he up and around? I gotta log in with this thing and try this thing, and then here, and then hold on. Browser's not supported. Get the fuck out of here.
Somebody's been.
You nuts? Shut up. Hold on. I'll get there. Don't worry. I need a Chrome browser. There we go. Open up, you silly thing. You silly doggy. Turn this. Okay. And then I will get in the Twitch situation. Oops. There we go. Twitch dashboard. There we go. There we go. All right. Oh, for fuck's sake. Authenticator. Why do I have to reload everything? By God and golly. Never mind. You know what? Screw it. I'll go to, I think I can do it. No, I can't do it in here. Never mind. I lied. It's terrible. It's so broken. Why is everything so hard? I don't have my, I don't, enter the code, I want to use SMS instead. Thank you. There you go. Code was sensitive and everything. Okay. Okay. Remember this device 30 days. All right. Supposed to be sending me a code, you bastard. You lucky bastard. This is what happens when I go out of town for like 2 days and I end up having to like relog into everything. Dink. Up on him. Oh, all right. Thanks. I may do that, Brian, but let me raid you first. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll play weird theme music for a second. Sample music. There we go. No, that's terrible. How about chat room? Chat room. Working on it. Hold on. Didn't send a code yet. Send the code, you weirdo. Come on, everybody. You know what? Hey, CSL, can you, you got access. Can you raid us? Can you send us on a raid, my friend? See if that, because on my end it's being a dick. Oh, raid the major or raid Brian? Isn't Brian on after it? Whatever is happening there. The major's only on for a half hour, so but we can still do that. Excellent. CSL, yes, hold on, excellent. Major isn't on Twitch, right? So we'll raid CSL is doing the rate for us. Then we'll jump in and love you guys. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. God, that music's awful. Maybe this is better. Nope. All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow, regular afternoon show, 4 p.m. Pacific. There we go. CSL got it. Excellent. We're rating. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Let me sign out. That's too weird. I don't need that. I need my own music. I spent all this time making this stuff so that we could play it, and I'd have different music that I could play each time. And by golly, off it goes. Let's see. Let's try this one. Works for me. All right. See you later.